Alright, so as you can tell by the title, today I'm going to be talking about how much it cost me to rebuild these bikes and hopefully how much I made off of this one, because the plan is to sell it later today. So if that goes through, I will put that in there. But if you're just here for the numbers on how much it costs, you don't really care about the breakdown or anything, this ZX10R right here came to a grand total of $8,170.72 to rebuild. And my 2024 Ninja 500 cost me a grand total of $3,184.55 to rebuild. But that's for the people that are just here for the numbers. Now I'm going to go into like an actual detailed breakdown of it. Alright, so I'm going to start off with the ZX10R. This video is mainly for like if people are considering getting into rebuilding bikes, you know, whether it's to keep it or whether it's a project for a side hustle that you want to sell later when you're done. I figured this would help give you guys kind of a better idea of what you're getting into financially and all the different like fees and stuff that come with it. So I just figured this could be helpful. But starting off with this one, I bought the bike for the bike itself plus all the fees from Copart. There's usually a couple $100 or more of fees when you pick it up, but the bike itself plus everything from Copart was $4,508 when I got this for a 2018 ZX10R. Wasn't in very good shape, but I got it for $4,500, which for a newer ZX10 is very cheap. So I had to replace the subframe, which was about $260. It was $259.70 to be exact. I had to replace one of the handlebars, which was $182.31, but that's because it came with all of the electronics and stuff too. It was the side to start the bike, so it was the right one. So that's why it was pretty expensive. I got levers for it. They were $28.09. To replace these mirrors up here, that was $69.75. The gas tank, those are usually going to be expensive because it's a larger part, and if you want to get it in good shape, you're going to pay a lot. I paid $318 for the one I put on. I had to replace because the one that was on it was very dented in and beat up. I had to replace a funnel above the air intake, above the exhaust manifolds. Nope. I had to replace a funnel above the throttle body. There we go. And that cost $11.95. So that was pretty cheap. A new seal for the air box, that was only $9.72. Now for the air box, ended up buying 3 because the first one didn't fit. The second one I paid for and the seller just never responded on eBay. They never shipped anything out or anything like that, so I had to eventually get my money back. And then finally I got one that fit. That cost me $127. So that was kind of expensive. Battery, needed to replace it, didn't have one at all when I got it. That cost me $96.45. New air filter was $25.86. The shift lever was $21.19. I had to buy a new bracket for the fuel tank, which goes back here under the seat, kind of. That cost me $44.27. That one was really expensive for some reason. It was annoying to find. So originally, you can kind of see it right here. It's carbon fiber. Look up here. That's the original fairings I bought. The whole bike was carbon fiber looking. So they're kind of more expensive. It was the most I've spent on fairings ever, I think. And that cost me $561, which they didn't get to last long, unfortunately. New clutch cable, that was $23. So I had to replace the accelerator position sensor, which that cost me $26.69. All of this is shown like in the rebuild video. If you're curious, you can go back and check that out. The front brake light switch, which goes over on that side, it's directly under the brake lever, and that turns your rear brake light on and off. That was $60. I had to get a new rear tire, which was $160, and then I paid for the enhanced inspection, which if you buy a salvage title vehicle, that's what you have to do. If you get the certificate of salvage, you have to rebuild it and then get an enhanced inspection. That way you can get the title. So the inspection itself cost me $190, and then the title and registration fees, that's where it gets pretty expensive. That cost me $445. Now that's based on a couple things, like how much you pay for the bike, like the actual sale price you got it for. That's the biggest factor. So the less you spend on a bike at Copart, the less you're gonna pay in title and registration fees. But that came to $445. And then if you're familiar with this bike, you know I wrecked it. The day I picked it up from inspection, I made it almost all the way home and then got cut off. So I had to rebuild it again. But the total I was at so far was $7,424.70. That's how much it cost me to originally rebuild it. Then I had that wreck again, so I had to replace some stuff again. I bought new handlebars. That cost me $33.90. I had to replace the air duct up here. That cost me $47.69. I had to replace that radiator, which was a pain to get one that fit right. That was $135. The triple tree, which is up here if you don't know, that was $65.51. I had to get a new front rim, very expensive. It was $318. And then, since I had just lost a bunch of money and was going through the stuff, I went with cheap fairings the second time. I got the cheapest I could find. These were only $297, so much cheaper. And I still think it looks really good. I had to buy a new headlight assembly, which is the whole thing right here. And that was pretty expensive. That cost me $232.14. So, with the way you're looking at it now, fully done, I've been riding it ever since the second rebuild. I didn't have to get inspected again or anything. But with the way you're looking at it now, all of that came to a total of $8,170.72. So I got a 2018 ZX10R for $8,100. So I didn't save a whole lot of money on it. I saved some, but not a whole lot. Had I only wrecked it one time, had I never wrecked it and just stopped at the $7,400 part, then I would have saved a good bit more, obviously, but unfortunately it didn't work out that well. In the end, I still saved a little bit, like I said, because normally this bike would probably be around like $10,000, but I saved a little bit, but it gave me a lot more experience on bikes. Like now I know a lot more about them. I had this one pretty far apart and changed a lot to it, so I think I learned a good bit from it. Well, I know I learned a good bit from it, so I got experience, and like I said, I saved a little bit of money, so it wasn't too bad. But now I'm going to switch over to the 500, which was actually much easier and cheaper. Alright, so for this bike, I won the auction for, I believe it was exactly $1,000 for the final bid, which is super cheap. That's the cheapest I've ever gotten a bike from there, and I was surprised it went for so low because it's 2024. I'm assuming it's because it didn't run. People just were turned off by that and didn't buy it, but I ended up getting it for like $1,000, which was super cheap. So after the fees and everything else, it came to $1,630, and that's gonna come into play later when I said about the whole registration stuff being cheaper based on the price you pay for it. So first I had to replace the stator because it just wasn't there. That cost me $98.53. The metal piece right here that covers it, that cost me $63.55. The gasket for it, it's just literally just a little rubber seal that goes around the whole thing. That was $48.37. I had to replace a rectifier right back here. That was only $21.19. The flywheel rotor, which is in here, it goes behind the stator. That was the expensive part. It cost me $382.61. So that part kind of sucked getting, but didn't really have a choice. I had to get new pegs. So those were $49.84. These smoked turn signals right here, $21.18. The fairings I got, these were $381.59. I used a $100 gift card towards that, so like you could say that's money I didn't spend. So you could take $100 off if you wanted to like look into the actual profit. But moving on, this seat cowl back here, kind of behind the mirror, can't really see it, but that cost me $43.99. And then I had to get which coming to that total was $2,640.85. Then I ended up replacing the windscreen afterwards, which was $47.70. So that's $2,687. Well, $88 money into rebuilding it. So then I went to get the inspection. This one cost me $200, and the title and registration this time only cost me $296 instead of $445. So it was a good bit cheaper since I bought the bike for so much less. So that was nice. But the grand total ended up being $3,184.55 for a 2024 Ninja 500. It's a great looking bike. It's really fun. It's got a custom exhaust and stuff, aftermarket. I mean, so it's already got some modifications done to it. It sounds really good. I definitely would keep this bike if I financially could right now, just because it's really fun. I like it, but the plan is to sell it later today. If it goes through with the price I have it listed, I'm gonna make a pretty nice profit, but I'm gonna end up just editing it onto here, how much I sold it for and how much the profit was. Hopefully that's today. If it goes as planned, it will be. So looking forward to that. Might do another one this summer. Might hold off a little bit and just focus on riding, but I'm not 100% sure yet. I will figure that out as I go. But like I said, I just wanted to do this for somebody that's considering getting into it. This video could help them kind of gauge like how much you have to put into it versus how much you're going to save, and if they think that makes it worth it or not. To me, I think it is worth it because you learn a lot about bikes, like how to do your own maintenance and how they work, stuff like that, where different parts are. It makes it a lot easier. And the more project bikes you do, the easier it gets because you have more and more experience and knowledge. So I think it's worth it because you can save a good bit of money. But that's up to you. You can also make a good bit of money. Like I said, I might be making like $1,000 or more off of selling this one. So that's a nice bit of money with not a whole lot of work and time. And it's fun too. It's rewarding. You get like a better feeling when you ride a bike that you rebuilt yourself. But yeah, that's why I wanted to make this video. Hopefully it helps, and I'll see you in the next one.